I think Darren knows so little about the players in the Eastern Conference that I want to put him to the test in a segment we're calling Pokemon or Eastern Conference MLS players. As fast as you can, you have to say Pokemon or MLS. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes. Thank you for not
Chespin.
making me pick the team. Pokemon.
Correct. Cucho.
MLS.
Correct. He's a designated player for Columbus. Wobodo.
Oh, come on. Pokemon.
Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug, and the only LAFC podcast that never doubted Stipe Buke. I'm Travis Helwig.
And I'm Darren Miller, Hotel Edition. Welcome to our preview of the U.S. Open Cup El Tráfico this Tuesday, May 23rd at 7:30 p.m. at BMO Stadium. LAFC vs. Galaxy, win or go home. You can watch it on the CBS Sports Golazo Network, the channel we all watch all day anyway, of course.
I think it's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, that is technically a channel that you can get on Paramount Plus, or I think you can just get it on the browser.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, it might just be. It's free, I think, though.
I think it's free. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with our live post-game call-in show this week, 10 minutes after the final whistle at youtube.com/@happyfootsadfoot. Subscribe now, get notified when we go live.
Later in the show, we'll be playing a lightning round game, and we'll learn all the storylines for this week's El Tráfico. But first, you demand it. We stay up all night having nightmares about it. It's time for listener-mandated banter. Darren, you said Darren Miller Hotel Edition, yet the people listening have no idea what that means. Why don't you tell them?
That's true. If you're watching and not listening, you'll notice that my background is weird as hell.
It's like an Art Deco. You look like you're in the grand lobby at the LAFC stadium.
Okay, yeah. It's like a weird there's a lot of backlighting and bamboo, and I don't know, it's some bougie hotel in New York that is very cool that I'm staying in for a work thing.
A work thing?
I don't know. Yeah.
That's all the information you're allowed to give us.
I think it is. It has to do with a CIA thing, so.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I know how close you are to the police, so it's
shit. I can't believe I walked into that.
I'm back here in Tapestry Studios, which someone in the comments said during the live stream last week, and I forgot to say out loud.
That's so good.
The reason that we drew against Sporting Kansas City is that the postgame show was at BMO and not in Tapestry Studios. However, I think I'll be in BMO on Tuesday as well for the postgame show against the Galaxy. And we have some exciting stuff coming up that we're doing with LAFC that, we'll wait and announce it on socials or whatever, but we got some cool stuff going on that we're about to do with the club, which is rad. So thank you all for the support.
Yep. We're going to be on the team.
Yeah. We've been talking about midfield depth for a long time.
Yep.
And they were like, can we get two short men with thick thighs to join the team?
Yeah.
All right, that's enough banter, I think, right? Let's get into the show.
Yeah, let's just do the show. This will be fun, okay?
Hey, guys, this is going to be fun to listen to, okay?
Listen, this will be good. This will be good just as soon as I'm done, rearranging the windows on my computer screen so that I can read the script I wrote.
Hey, listeners, look me in the eye. This is going to be a fun time, okay?
Hey, promise me that I promise you that this is fun, okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, the more I watch LAFC, the more I see that each game is like a big juicy onion. Sure, it's nice to peel off the skin and watch a great game of soccer, but what about the deeper layers? I can always tell there's so much more going on, but cutting onions takes time and it makes me cry. And if every game is its own onion, then it's just an insane amount of onions and cutting and crying. And between the league games and the different tournament games, you've got all different kinds of onions. You might have to cut in different ways. Who even knows? I don't cook. I don't know what I'm talking about. Frankly, I don't have time to know. I don't need the extra tears. I'm already constantly welling up with tears of joy from my wife and 3 kids and dog, and tears of pride from the roof I help keep over their heads and through my full-time contributions to the labor force of our flawless society. Thank God I have Travis, who dedicates every moment of his life to slicing, dicing, and peeling back every layer of every LAFC onion there is, or at least I assume that's why he's always crying when I see him. Regardless, he's got the deeper storylines that make every match more fun to watch, and I make him tell all of us all about them every week in a segment we call storylines.
What a beautiful slam poem by Darren Miller. Just keeps getting more and more like a high school teenager trying to impress a teacher that is maybe a little bit too flirtatious. It's time for storylines. For the casual fan like yourself, Darren, you might see LAFC versus Galaxy on the schedule and go, oh, that's one of the biggest games of the year, El Tráfico.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the first time I've done a character. Oh, it's El Tráfico. Oh, that's what our rivalry is called. It's a marquee rivalry in Major League Soccer. I'm an idiot named Darren.
This is a perfect impression of me.
None of this is in the notes. Look, every time we play El Tráfico, it's an absolutely tense barrage of goals that makes it must-watch TV. But this week's El Tráfico actually feels a little different. It feels a little bit like a distraction, a nervous little speed bump before the Champions League finals. And that brings us to this week's first storyline, which is this. The stakes of this El Tráfico is probably the weirdest in the history of our rivalry with the Galaxy. Normally, when we play the Galaxy, all bets are off. We do absolutely everything we can to win. We have our best players, and they give their absolute hardest efforts for 90 minutes. And there will always be multiple lead changes, and there will always be at least 5 goals. But we're heading into this El Tráfico with a few caveats. First, this is a knockout round game for the US Open Cup, a tournament similar to the FA Cup in England, where the second, third, and fourth division teams can go on magical little runs and end up losing to LAFC in later rounds. But it's a country ride tournament that any professional club technically can win, and sometimes they get kind of far. Sacramento Republic, I think, got to the finals last year. This tournament normally means a lot to us fans. Last year, in this exact same competition, we were knocked out by the Galaxy in Carson, and it was demoralizing. And the following home game, the 3252 did a controversial protest where they stayed silent for the first 12 minutes of the game to highlight the team's lack of effort whenever we played in Carson. And a lot of non-3252 fans, myself included at the time, were sort of annoyed at this protest because we were first in the league protesting our team's play. And also, I think there was like a national tragedy that had happened that week. I don't remember what it was, but a protest over bad play from the team first in the league felt weird at the time. Not worth rehashing anymore. But it's all that is to say that the US Open Cup normally, and especially against the Galaxy, is a very important match. So while this tournament and El Tráfico normally means a lot to our fans, this year's game is very different because we aren't sure just how much our team cares about the Open Cup this year. Last round, we played exactly 0 starters for our US Open Cup match against Monterey Bay, coming away with a win in PKs, despite the fact that our team was literally made up of middle schoolers. And on top of that, this match is the third game in 9 days, coming off a 1-1 draw against Sporting Kansas City and a 2-1 win against San Jose, both of which featured a rotated squad and a mixed team that was nowhere near our best 11. But not only that, Darren, as I've already alluded to, this game is 7 days before the most important match we've played since we won the MLS Cup final. And that's the first leg of the Champions League final, which is down at Leon in Mexico. And God forbid one of our best players get hurt against the Galaxy and they can't play in the Champions League finals. The fact that this team is deprioritizing the Open Cup and the fact that we already beat Galaxy and Carson earlier this year, it might seem fair to say that this game is one that some fans are sort of okay with losing. I mean, we don't ever want to lose, but the stakes just aren't as high as normal, Darren, right? Right? Wrong, Darren. Wrong, Darren.
I didn't know what was right or wrong.
Well, guess
That's why
what?
you're doing this segment.
You're wrong. And what I said all that stuff, but it was a distraction because what really matters is what I'm about to say.
Oh, good.
Like I said last week, I want you to consider the opposite, Darren. What if we lose in the Champions League final? And just a week earlier, we decided to rest our best guys and lost to a Galaxy team that we know we could beat at home with our best 11. And that means within 2 weeks, we're knocked out of 2 of the 5 trophy battles we could have won this year, 2 of the 5 competitions. And on top of that, because we've played those 2 rotated squads against San Jose and Kansas City, we will have our best 11 rested and available against the Galaxy. And
This
not
is a
having
real
played together.
quagmire.
Yeah, I think last week we said, what are they going to do? What's the puzzle? And I think what we've seen is they've played a really weird mix of players for Kansas City and San Jose, which implies to me we're going all in for this game against the Galaxy, and I'm excited about it. I think it's smart we're playing our best 11.
All in meaning Chiellini.
Well, Chiellini is interesting, Darren, because Chiellini never plays against the Galaxy because Chicharito is so fast. He almost never plays in
Oh,
those
okay.
games.
Okay.
He's been on the sidelines the last few games. They keep saying it's precautionary and he's available when we need him, but he doesn't seem all that available to me. He's like hanging out with LAFC
He
Rich
doesn't
and like
he doesn't seem like
Flava
on the
Flav.
you just said the sidelines plural. He's not on the sideline that the team is on. He's on a different sideline.
Yeah, he's in the crowd. He's like
Yeah.
he's hanging out in the lounge where they give out the free tequila. But I think it makes sense that we play our best team and we go all in. It's a knockout game. We don't want to lose to the Galaxy. And we want to get in rhythm before the Champions League game. We should play our best players so they're used to playing together for 7 days later when we play the Champions League final. But it's not going to be that simple, Darren. And that brings us to our next storyline,
That
which is
wasn't
this.
simple.
Darren, everything I just said was very simple. And if
Oh,
you don't
no.
understand, if we never record it this early in the day, and I'm like, I'm acting crazy. I feel
Yeah.
insane.
I got here on a red eye. I haven't slept.
Oh, geez. We're in
I
completely
flew a plane
opposite
instead
crew.
of sleeping. Yeah.
You flew? You flew the plane?
Yeah.
I didn't know
They
you
were
could do
like,
that.
well, I paid extra. They were like, do you want to come up and see the captain? And I was like, great. I remember that when I was a kid. And they were like, look, there's no captain. We need you to fly the plane.
It feels like that's something that like Southwest would offer as like a way to like charge a little bit less. It's like you can either sit comfortably in your seat for $40 or for 20, you'll be the one who has to land the plane.
Yeah. Or like did you ever see Up in the Air where there's some kind of crazy status that I only found out about through that movie where like if you get 1,000,000 miles or something like that, you get some kind of, I don't know, like the CEO visits you and says hi or some shit. I don't know. But if you rack up enough miles, they'll let you fly a plane.
Nothing sounds more rewarding to me than an airplane CEO coming to meet me.
I don't
Wow, it's
remember. I'm
nice to
vaguely
meet you,
remembering.
old white man. I guess it was worth spending all that money flying on your airline.
I'm the guy
Okay.
behind all the manipulation that got you here.
All that is to say, it's not that simple, Darren, which brings us to our next storyline, which is this. The Galaxy, their coach, and their front office really need this win on Tuesday. Why? Because the Galaxy are the worst they've ever been. They are currently in dead last in the West, losing 3-0 to DC United this weekend. They have 2 wins on the season, 3 draws, and 8 losses. Contrast that with our squad, who are first in the West with a record of 7 wins, 4 draws, and only 1 loss, despite playing a bunch of extra tournament games. Normally, when people go far in the Champions League, their MLS regular season is fucked. That hasn't been the case for us. All of the Galaxy supporter groups are still boycotting the team, besides the one weirdo scab group, Angel City Brigade, who I think literally got paid off by the front office. If the Galaxy lose to us in the US Open Cup, I really think AEG, the owners of the Galaxy, will have no choice but to clean house, fire Greg Vanney, their head coach, fire Chris Klein, the president of the team and the jock from American Pie, and start over. They are desperate to have something, anything to celebrate, and a win against us in a knockout round tournament would give them a temporary life raft for their sinking ship. If I was a Galaxy fan who wanted Chris Klein gone, I would be rooting for LAFC on Tuesday. And that brings us to our final storyline, which is that despite that Galaxy's play being as disgusting as Carson Tapwater, we know for a fact that they always show up when they play against us. It's a tradition at this point, Darren. They will play terribly all year round, but when El Tráfico comes around, all of their FIFA scores will increase by like 10, and we'll be holding on for dear life the entire fucking game. We always go in underestimating them, and they always take advantage. The game we played against them in Carson was easily their best game of the year, and even though we won, I don't think anyone watching that game would say we were the better team that game. Galaxy looked excellent against us. The rest of the season aside, as always, Puig shows flashes of brilliance. Joveljic sometimes shows up. Chicharito is somewhere right now rolling around on the ground pretending to be hurt because he heard a loud noise outside his house. The truth is, LAFC is the best team in the league. The Galaxy are the worst team in the league. But there are so many interesting and complicated storylines leading into this match that literally anything could happen. I would be surprised by nothing. We could play our LAFC 2 squad and they win by 5, which would rule. Puig could score a double hat trick in the 32-52, burn BMO to the ground. I wouldn't be surprised. Who knows? It really has the making of a truly wild game this Tuesday, and we won't really know what to watch for until we see what our roster is Tuesday night. I am very excited to be there, Darren.
You know what's crazy about this, besides all of that, is that how insane that game is going to be. Because it is a U.S. Open Cup game, it can't end in a tie.
Yeah, we could go to PKs.
That will be so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And weirdly, like,
because the weird thing is like, oh, after all that, it was a 0-0 tie or it was a 1-1 tie. Crazy that like nothing crazy happened, but that isn't even an option.
Yeah. Come Tuesday, either LAFC or the LA Galaxy will have won the match. And they will move on in a tournament. And I've done a complete 180 from thinking we should play our LAFC 2 squad to thinking we need to play our best team and fucking decimate them and bury them into the ground.
Yeah. The interesting thing about the last few games, though, is that they've built rotations that, like, now they just kind of have, like, he can kind of, like, nip tuck. He can just be like, how about this guy? And for this moment, and this guy, like, it can be, like, very tactical.
Dueñas played 60 minutes against, and we won the game. Like, Ordaz almost got a fucking assist against Kansas City in that called back goal. Like, we have children that are working with our top tier rotation. It's
cool.
very
also,
cool.
Travis, the water in Carson is just infused with Herbalife, so it just makes you healthy. That's why it tastes weird, but it's good.
So 1 in 12 people have kidney failure when they drink it. Allegedly. But
think about all the other things they have, like, less pounds.
Like the train museum or the printing press museum and the gnome village on that campus, which does sound cool. I want to go to that gnome village. That's our segment. When we come back, we're going to play a lightning round game. And we're back. A few weeks ago during our first San Jose preview episode, I forget who said it, but one of us remarked that the name Abobasi sounds a lot like a Pokemon. And we got to talking. Darren, King of the Casuals, might be learning more and more about our LAFC squad, but he still has a lot to learn about the other teams in the league, especially the Eastern Conference, featuring a bunch of teams we never play, like Orlando City and FC Cincinnati and the New Haven Ravens.
Oh, boy.
Just making sure you caught... Yeah, okay, good. Just making sure that you knew that the New Haven Ravens were not a team. Okay. I paused.
FC Cincinnati, who's that?
Oh, yeah, like Cincinnati could field the team.
You're telling me Cincinnati has a team?
They put their chili over pasta. In fact, I think Darren knows so little about the players in the Eastern Conference that I want to put him to the test in a segment we're calling Pokemon or Eastern Conference MLS players. This is a lightning round game, and the rules are simple. I'll say either the name of a Pokemon or the name of an MLS player in the Eastern Conference. And as fast as you can, you have to guess either answer by saying Pokemon or MLS as fast as you can. Are you ready?
I mean, no. The answer is I don't know to every question. I don't know anything about Pokemon either.
Exactly. As fast as you can, you have to say Pokemon or MLS. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes. Thank you for not making me pick the team. Pokemon.
Correct. Cucho.
MLS.
Correct. He's a designated player for Columbus. Wobodo.
Oh, come on. Pokemon.
MLS, he plays for Cincinnati. Sudowoodo.
MLS.
Pokemon. Meltan.
Meltan? Come on, that's got to be Pokemon.
Pokemon, correct. Privet.
Okay. Ooh, this feels like a trap. MLS.
He plays for Charlotte. Sapong.
Sapong? Pokemon.
Toronto. Spoink.
Pokemon.
Pokemon, that is correct. Blom.
Come on, Pokemon.
He plays for St. Louis. Snom.
Pokemon?
Pokemon, correct. Alm.
Wait, ALM?
Uh-huh.
MLS.
He plays for St. Louis. Blom and Alm both play for St. Louis.
Wow.
Klefki.
Oh, Klefki, yes. He's a coach in the MLS, right?
He's a Pokemon. Bender.
Futurama.
Give me an answer.
MLS.
MLS, Charlotte. Omolga.
Pokemon.
Pokemon, that's correct. Grinwis.
Pokemon.
MLS, he plays for Orlando. Zarudi.
What? No.
Oh, sorry. Zarud.
I want a VAR on the last one. Zarud, MLS.
Pokemon. Zamudio.
Pokemon.
He plays for DC United. Veluza.
You're kidding. Pokemon.
Pokemon, that's correct. Van Zier.
Oh, MLS.
Yes, he's the guy who said the racist thing for New York Red Bull. It is a designated player. Victini.
MLS.
Pokemon. Victreebel.
Oh my God. MLS.
Pokemon. Borgelin.
Pokemon.
MLS, he plays for Miami. Natu.
No, he doesn't.
I think I might have mispronounced it. I think it's Borglin. I said Borgelin. Natu.
Pokemon.
Pokemon, correct. Donkor.
MLS.
Plays for the Red Bulls. And finally, Guzzlord. Guzzlord.
Pokemon.
That is correct. You've won the game, Darren. It turns out you know.
There's no way I won the game. There's no way I won that game.
I was so excited about how many I could find that were similar, like Blom, Snom, and Alm.
Dude, we could go back and tally the points on that one later, but that was bad. That was real rough.
Wobodo and Sudowoodo.
Oh my God.
What's fun is I could write that game 400 more times. We could keep playing that game.
Let's play it every month. Let's see if I've learned anything ever. Maybe at some point you'll give me an easy one and you can include popular
Pikachu.
Charlotte midfielder, Jigglypuff. Yeah.
I choose you, Bawanga. When we come back, let's make some bets.
And we're back. Now it's time for a segment called Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
Every week, Travis and I end the show with a bet for this week's game. We make an outlandish prediction for that week, something that almost definitely will not happen, but could. Each week, we both put up $5, and if no one hits, the money rolls over to the next week. Eventually, by the time someone's weird prediction comes true, they might win a good chunk of change. Neither of our bets cashed last week, so our bet pool this week is, I believe, $70.
Did you change that yet?
I did.
Okay, 70. We're up there.
It was 60 last time.
How much did you win? What did you win when you got it right?
It might have been 70. We can go back and look. Or 60.
It was either 70 or 80, I think.
Okay. Yeah, we're
I think we're
getting
right
back
around
up
where
there.
you hit.
We're getting back up there. And on a week where, as you said in the storyline segment, anything could happen. Anything could happen.
My prediction last week was that 2 LAFC 2 players would score. That did not happen, although they did play a lot. They had opportunities to score, but they didn't score. What was your prediction?
I have a similar bet for this week to yours last week. My bet for last week was that the mascots would get involved. I was excited about the 2 mascots we were playing, both having something to do with being blue. I neglected to think about the fact that we were playing at BMO Stadium where there was no mascot from the other team. Mascots don't travel with the team. And then nothing happened the other game. Okay. My bet for this week is that Nathan Ordaz will have both a goal and a yellow card.
Okay. All right. In a tournament game, we're going to play 9-year-old Nathan Ordaz, and he's going to score a goal and get a yellow
Yeah.
card. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Did you see Nathan Ordaz
I'm
was
not
doing
saying
the
he's going to start.
sha-la-las? Yeah, that's
Was
fine.
that?
He was doing the sha-la-las. After the
Really?
game.
I missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay.
Travis, what is your bet?
My bet this week is somewhat similar, but I think it's going to get testy because both teams really want this, and especially because the Galaxy really want this. And my prediction is both teams will get a red card. So we might have more than 2 red cards, but we're going to be playing men down for a portion of the game. Both teams will be playing with men down for a portion of the game.
I love that. Yeah. I can see that happening. It really truly is. Like, I love that it's not only like what are they going to do for the, like how are they going to like who will be playing is a reveal. Like how much they care about the game is a reveal.
Yeah.
And then
it's
regardless of how they choose, what ends up happening on the pitch is also like completely could be anything. More so than any game I could possibly think of in recent memory.
The storylines were so complicated because it's like going into this, we don't know we won't know what the actual storylines of the game are until 15 minutes before when the lineup drops. And then we'll fully understand the stakes, how much we're putting into it. There's still a fucking possibility that we play LAFC 2 for this game and we don't care about US Open Cup. There's also a possibility that we play Chiellini and Murillo, 2 players we haven't seen in a long time. So like it'll be interesting to see
Murillo.
who wins the Super Bowl. Do you remember there was a headline from like SB Nation like 10 years ago that was just, it'll be interesting to see who wins the Super Bowl. And I couldn't stop saying it out loud for like 2 years.
I remember that actually. The reason why I remember that headline is because I remember you saying it out loud because I thought it was really funny.
It will be interesting to see who wins the Super Bowl. It will be interesting to see who wins El Tráfico.
You know, one thing about El Tráfico is it's really going to be interesting to see who wins.
You know, going into this week's game, the final storyline is it will be interesting to see who wins El Tráfico. That's our show. We shall see
Just a reminder,
which bets cash.
It'll be interesting to see who wins Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
Just a reminder, we'll be live streaming a post-game show 10 minutes after the game on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@happyfootsadfoot. There's a link in the show notes. Talk to us in the chat. If you want to call in to talk, you can click the link and join us live on the air.
And again, don't do it while driving. Our theme music is done by the insane team of James Valentine, Nate Walcott, and Louis Palmer. And along with YouTube, you could follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, follow, send to a friend, all that stuff that we always say, thumbs up. We're doing this entirely on our own dime. We're in debt, a lot of money. We're going to figure out how to make some of that back soon, and we'll let you know soon. But any new listeners will go a long way to making us feel good about doing it.
Like us, review us, share us, tell your friends.
Thanks again, and we'll see you at El Tráfico, baby. I love you.
I love you. Goodbye.
I love you.
Bye.
I love you, Lamar Hunt, whoever you are. Whoever you are, Lamar Hunt, US Open Cup, I love you.
I love you. Bye.
We should be the Lamar Hunt Happy Foot Sad Foot. Welcome to Lamar Hunt Happy Foot Sad Foot. I love you.
The Lamar Hunt Happy Foot Sad Foot trophy.
And when you call in for the post game, you have to give your Lamar Hunt Happy Foot and your Lamar Hunt Sad Foot for the game.
Yes, that'll be good. Okay, good.
Okay, bye. I love you.
Goodbye.